So it was just an insane day all around. Hopefully some people are coming in now. I did just make sure we went live here, but let's pull up the day because for me, at least, it didn't start off great. There was a lot of mistakes that I did. There's going to be a lot of trades. This is going to be a long stream, so buckle in, stay tuned, and there's going to be lots of opportunities to, I think, learn today, especially for myself. I think this is the perfect opportunity and day to really look into what this type of momentum is, because this is the type of momentum I expected coming into this morning, but we didn't get it later on until halfway through the day. And then by that time, I was a little bit late to some moves. I pulled it up. I caught some really nice squeezes. I ended up going back and forth. But let's pull up let's pull up the charting profile. You can see here CHAI, one of the most recent runners, up a total of 150%. So I'm going to turn the audio just a little bit here so we can hear me a little bit more. This one moved up 150, almost 200%. I ended up catching some of this move as well. I'm going to go over my entries, my orders, my executions. But why are we doing this? The goal is to make $1 million. My goal is to sit here in front of the computer, learn the stock market each and every day. This is 2 years of trading going down, and I think I'm finally ready to push for size and start making some really good days of profit. Now, here's the thing about this challenge. I'm trying to review my executions after each and every day I come into the market. I want to see what's the market sentiment, what are my trades, what are we really looking at from day to day. Hello Sarah. Hey Fuga, how you doing, man? Got some people in the chat here coming in as well. So yeah, this has been a really, really nice day, I would say, just in general. But we need to look at the executions. We need to look at some of the charts, and then we also need to get better, hold myself accountable, and whoever else is showing for today. So let's pull up the charting profile of the day. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull this up all the way down. So we're sitting at 344 gross profit. Now today isn't a green day, but one of the biggest things that we came up last week, because Mondays have typically been my worst day, is we made the Monday morning protocol. Reduce to half max loss, half share size. We're trusting dips, looking for high accuracy plays, and FOMO. So did I follow my rules coming into the regular market session and pre-market? I would say no. I didn't follow Monday morning protocol. I did really well coming in from about 6:45 to 9:45. I took a step away. I came back. I started trading, and I just plainly disregarded this setup. So would I say my risk management was great today? Absolutely. But did I follow my rules? Absolutely not. And I think today was one of those days where you could have not followed your rules and still got away with a lot of action. And so, what's up, Mega? What's up? When did you feel like you began to turn the corner? My first level of success that I had was in May of 2025. That's when I felt like, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. And that was almost a year ago now, or it has been a year ago now. And so that's the first level, I think, that my first step in the right direction. And then I just been improving like you wouldn't believe ever since. And so now, I stream live daily, and, I stream my trades over at joindtsm.com and have the community platform. I think I'm really in a spot now where I can start pulling away and P&L. But INHD, this one moved up an insane amount. It started just at market open here at 9:30. It slowly curled back up. I'm going to pull up the 5-minute chart here because I think it's going to be the best way to look at it. But this thing just did not stop. It started at about $1 a share. It popped up to about $2 and then rallied up to $3, dips down, pops up to 8.50s, 9, curls back down, holds $5 a share, goes to 8, 11, 10, 15, 20, halts up, opens at around 30s, halts up again at 40s, opens up, go to the high coming into after hours at $66 a share. Just insane, just an insane level of volatility. And if you're short on this and you're shorting the stock as it's moving up, looking for it to go back down, you're caught so heavy. So let's pull up the position of the day here. What happened? Because I think there's so much to go through. It is a green day. It's very small. I took a lot of trades today. I took 47 trades. I was red majority of the day until just about, I would say, 10-15 minutes before I went live. And so I've been digging myself out of this hole. At peak drawdown was about $94 on the day, and then was able to recover all the way back up to $17. One of the biggest things in this market right now, specifically today, was a lot of volatility. So at some point, I came back around 10:36 was my first trade, and I said, you know what? I'm increasing my max loss today because there's so much volatility to $100. And if I go past $100, I'm walking away, I'm closing down the charts. I'm not even going to show back up. But, you know, today gave us another level of opportunity where I was able to, in pretty much two real meaningful trades, go straight back to break even. Took a couple of stabs entries here, you know, crawled back up and then had a really nice trade coming out to the end of the day. So what are all the stocks that I ended up trading? I traded a lot of them. Let's pull up my trade execution here while I'm at it. So if we go to trades, I traded SUNE, GLMD, FRSX, PAVS, INHD. We also traded NWGL, CHAI. So many different tickers. Yeah, the recovery was really nice today, but I think I should have just been really big green. On the trades that worked out really nicely, I could have increased my share size and, you know, just that dynamic sizing. My win rate today wasn't the best. Had 40% win rate on 1.58% profit to loss ratio, which is good. I've maintained a positive profit to loss ratio for a while now. And it's just, you know, I get a couple of these smaller trades, and then eventually, you know, I just take these base hits to the downside. And then I have to make it all back in one trade. And, you know, I just want to stay green on Mondays. It's so difficult for me on Mondays to stay green. Have you found a stock that are spiking with good move, however, they're not going parabolic like 2 years ago? Yeah, you know, what's interesting is a lot of these levels, especially coming into this morning, were chasing halt levels. So a stock would move up and then it would tap a halt level, drop back down, and then squeeze back up. And I don't know if it's some sort of selling pressure trying to push it back down, but shorts aren't getting, I don't think they're completely giving up. They're continuing to add, and then eventually at some point you get something like INHD where they starting to have to cover for the squeeze back up all the way to 66. So, you know, it is very interesting. This market reminded me coming into, you know, the end of 2024, the start of 2025, and some periods during the summer, just the way it was trading. But that was today's trading session. You know, we held our winners about 2 minutes, cut losers about 16 seconds. So, you know, manage risk well. I mean, there's really nothing much else to say, but let's look coming into the chart and executions, because I think that's really where we're going to learn the most from coming into today. And, you know, today was one of the first days I tried trading on Charles Schwab, and I have a lot of different stories to tell based off of this one. But let's go to the first trade of the day this morning, coming in on SUNE. So SUNE made a really nice move. I'm going to pull up the charts here, and I'm going to scroll this back. SUNE. All right, so you can see I took a lot of trades on this one, not a lot of them coming into on Charles Schwab on the open, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. But we took a lot of them coming into pre-market. So I'm going to zoom in as much as I can and then just quickly wrap this one around. Oh. Okay, here we go, pre-market. Now this is the pre-market trading session, and I started to trade this one really early. You can see here my first trade was coming in at 7 a.m. So here's the thing about Charles Schwab, and I knew this from before, but from previous habits, the first thing that I was really looking at on this one was I was looking for a trade as the momentum was starting to spike up. And coming into around 6:45 is typically when I start streaming over at joindtsm.com and start really trading and taking positions. And so for this one specifically, I ended up trying to take the breakout through 2. What I forgot at the time, because this is my first real time trading on Charles Schwab, is I forgot that this brokerage doesn't open up for limit orders until 7 a.m. And so just before 7 here, I tried to take a trade for the breakthrough 2, and my order rejected, and I wasn't quite sure why. It immediately squeezes up to 290, 270-ish area, and I don't have my position on it. If it was on the Ocean 1 account, I would have been up pretty decently, but I missed this trade. And then on the flip side, what I forgot to do is I forgot to remove my limit order that was placed, because I quickly switched to Ocean 1 to be able to try to take a trade. on this really nice squeeze. And so I didn't trade it within any of this area. And then by the time it started curling back down, the limit order was still placed. So 7 a.m. came, that limit order just underneath 2 filled at 195. And then when I switched back to Charles Schwab after 7 a.m., I realized I was 15 cents down. So I started immediately down in the red today. And, that wasn't the biggest, concern, but it's not always the greatest feeling, especially when you're using a new platform. You want that first trade to be green. A question on Dash Trader: I always have to go to chart settings and select the account every day to show the entries. What do you do to automate and show the exact account every day, or same as me? That's super interesting for me. You might be able to go to configs and be able to mess around with it. For me, I don't really have that issue for charts, but I would search this config area to see if there's an account name that you can change. So go right click on the chart, go to chart area, config area, and then there should be one in there. And let me know if you find anything in there, but I believe chart area config will do it for you. So this stock ended up making a really nice move, curls from VWAP here. I try to take a breakout trade, doesn't work. So that was my first real trade trading with Charles Schwab. Ends up dipping back down. I go red on it, and then all of a sudden it starts squeezing from 260s all the way up to 290s. I take a little bit of profit on the way up. Same thing here. I add for the breakout. It pops up to 320s, dips back down. I take a little bit of a dip trade. That was a really, really nice dip trade. I just didn't hold for long enough. I found myself trading before 7 a.m. Lately, stocks are moving around 6 and 6:30. Yeah, exactly. And that's where Ocean One's going to come in clutch, is for the high volatility plays or some of the plays that happen a little bit earlier on. So that's why I really have both brokerages up right now. But yeah, this is the P&L window from today on Charles Schwab. You can see up $16 on here, and I'm about break even on the Ocean One account. It's just trading a lot of options. My best winner today, CHAI, just traded that a couple of times coming into later this evening, but we'll get into those trades because there's a lot of action. So SUNE starts popping back up here, holding this level. I take a trade for the breakout. It pops up, drops down. It doesn't work. It curls back around. I get back in for the breakthrough 320s. It taps previous support of resistance the day before, and then kind of just sells off. I try to take a breakout here. It doesn't go. I'm like, all right, I think that's going to be it for today. Then we ended up seeing GLMD, which is one of my first penny stocks that I've traded. So, being able to open up a little bit. We will early trade zero after 7 a.m. Gotcha. Yeah. So, GLMD ended up popping up to 120s, dropping back down. I ended up taking a couple of dip trades. I was green on this one, but just by, about $1 with no commissions. It really helps out, but still, a decent amount of setup there. Then we ended up trading FRSX. This one, you can see I have a lot of trades on this one, and this is where I really want to analyze, because with Charles Schwab, the problem with trading on Charles Schwab is because you have no commission, so you don't feel like you need to hold positions that long. And so I found myself cutting trades really quickly. I would get in, I would get out, I would get in, I would get out, and they would just take little small losses. But then the winners weren't holding long enough to equate to that. And so I would say on the front side, I had some really great entries, just over 250s, just underneath $3, but I didn't really pull out a lot in this area. It ends up dropping back down. I end up taking a dip trade. It ends up pulling away. I take a couple of breakouts. I go red on it. Then I end up taking a couple of dip trades here. They're decent dip trades, but not holding enough share size. Ended up trying to get this breakout, adding, looking for the extension. Immediately rejects. I start selling. So that's the stock that I'm pretty much most red on, I believe, coming into today was FRSX. And then we end up seeing, let's see, I mean, this is just crazy. What ended up happening after that? Oh, and then I saw INHD. And this one was just absolutely insane. And one of the biggest things that I was excited for is regular market hours trading with Schwab. And so I ended up taking a trade here at about 425, looking for the breakout through 450s. Bad entry, but that wasn't necessarily the problem. The problem is that the fills on Charles Schwab were so long. I mean, it took like, I would say 10 to maybe 3 to 5 seconds to fill that order. I was going to say 10, but that's kind of exaggerated. It took a long time to fill this order. And so I was like, I don't even want to get in this anymore. I want to cancel the trade. It's not looking good. And it wouldn't even let me cancel. I got filled basically just over 425. It immediately drops back down. I sell. And even on the selling side, it took a while to fill as well. And so at that point there, I realized, you know what, I don't feel comfortable trading in Schwab, and I heard other people say the same thing as well. I'm at work but can hear your audio due to the speaker, but man, I love your content. Thanks, Lewis. I appreciate that. I really do, man. Hopefully you had a good trading day as well. But yeah, this was the move here on INHD, and I just left it alone. And then eventually it ends up curling back around. I see that it pops up to 7, rejects, and then all of a sudden you see this amazing curl up through 7, up through 9. There's 10, holds $12 a share just underneath that level, and then immediately curls through 15, holds support here, and then squeezes to 40, and then $62 a share. Just absolutely insane of a move. Just crazy. And so I didn't trade it with any of that area, but after that moment happened, we had some pretty insane moves on other stocks. So NPT started moving pretty nicely. This was a Chinese stock, so we had some sympathy momentum as well. Try Cobra, there's no minimum and low fees, fast execution. Yeah, no, absolutely. We have I use Ocean One, which has pretty low fees and really low minimum. So that's my other brokerage is Ocean One, and I took majority of my trades coming into later today on strictly Ocean One, which I'll also cover some of the trades I ended up taking. But NPT, after the swing on INHD, NPT started making a nice move as well. Popped up to 180s and then squeezes to 280s, drops back down, pops all the way up to 350s, drops down and squeezes to 430s before selling off pretty harshly, making a pretty crazy move coming in just after 2 o'clock here, and then ends up trying to make it a second attempt, third attempt for the breakthrough 12, and then rejects really hard. Just a typical Chinese action. Trading 1 share in Cobra trading, I pay like a cent in fees and commissions. No, that's awesome. That's really good. Is it because they have a discount for the first couple months on Cobra? Is that the reason? Let's see. And then we also had PAVS, which made a crazy move. I actually traded this one. I had one trade on Charles Schwab here, and then I think I had a couple trades on Ocean One as well. So let me go to PAVS here. Yeah, I took a couple trades on PAVS at the top of this level. So basically, I ended up buying a little bit of a dip trade on Ocean One, looking for the breakout, ends up popping up to a high of 240s, halting, opens up at 240s, pops up to 260s, don't get any profit off, drops all the way back down, and then halts immediately going up, and then opens up way lower. So insane volatility. There's no minimum, just the normal commission. I understand. Really, really nice. That's a good platform for beginners to trade on. So I'll definitely keep that in mind. I've been meaning to make a brokerage video on analyzing different brokers that are out there for opportunities. So PAVS made a really nice move, ended up capturing a green trade on that one. And then we had, let's see here, SUNE. Yep, SUNE started curling just after PAVS. And this is the stock that I went red on really deep at first. You can see here if we go to the Fuga Trader Journal, it opens around 40s, or sorry, I drop down to 40s, I make back, I go back to break even on the day, and then these losses on SUNE here back to down, all the way down to about $94, and then making a crazy recovery. So what happened on SUNE for that to occur? And the biggest thing is in this area, ends up popping up to about $4 a share, and I should have been trading it in this area. I was really hesitant to trade. I was super hesitant to trade this in this area. And then it ends up dropping down. I try to take a dip, doesn't work. I try to take another dip, doesn't work. I try to take another dip. A right opportunity on this one, just don't hold long enough. It squeezes. I try to take a trade, so have about 4 or 5 red trades in a row. And I go back down to $70 just on this stock specifically. And then I end up catching this bounce, and I just hold it for dear life. I'm holding for the breakthrough 480s. I'm holding for the breakthrough 520s. It drops all the way down, curls back up. I end up taking this breakout, mistimed it, and then this trade was probably one of the best trades of the day. Bought this dip here, added off this level at around 720s, sold some profit, hold for the breakthrough 9, and then I ended up getting a little bit of a dip here as well, going back to green on the stock. So just insane. But that's not all. And then we ended up trading a couple of other stocks here coming into after hours. After SUNE, I ended up getting a little bit of food, ended up coming back later on and trading NWGL. This one on NWGL made a really nice move. I tried to take the breakout through 2. It was a small dip, but this one immediately crushed me. Went down about 30 cents almost instantly. Yeah, I was fighting all day just to get green. It was insane. INHD just halted. Oh, wow. Interesting. What exchange is INHD on? It's on NASDAQ. Information requested. It makes sense. It makes sense. Wow, that's pretty scary. Your share size is the only thing that's taking you a while to get to $1 million profit because you're very consistent on green days. No, absolutely. And that's why, at the start of the video, I kind of explained, like, I'm at the point now where if I start increasing my share size, I think I'm at really the spot to start doing really well and start progressing in the right direction. But this is the stock that ended up making a really nice move later on this evening, and I ended up trading this one on Charles Schwab. So let me get this as CHAI. Ended up going back to green on it. Now it's up at around 450. I was trading it around $2 a share. So really the right thesis on this one. I'm going to pull it up on the level 2 here as well while I'm at it. Wow, beautiful move. Yeah. So what ends up happening here is I see a little bit of a dip opportunity. I buy off this level. A small trade ends up popping up pretty nicely. Dips back down. I end up getting a squeeze up to 288. Took a little bit of a dips here. Ends up pulling away from 250s. All the way up to $3 a share, and I'm taking some profit into 3s. It dips back down. You can see this really nice curl from 250s all the way up to 313, dipping down to the 90 MA and rallying up all the way to 450s. What's up, Mike? How you doing, man? So this is moving right now, currently up at $4 a share. Absolutely insane. I'm very tempted to trade it, but I'm also, very cautious where I'm at on the day P&L wise. I went down $100 on the day. This is exactly what I didn't want to do coming in on a Monday morning. We were talking about it, on Friday. What we really need to get is this Monday morning protocol in, going, small red if I need to, and then recovering the rest of the week instead of taking a big loss. Because if we look at the future trader, this was my day. Started red off the bat, recovered, went deeper red, and then recovered again. But today was one of those days where I think volatility was acceptable to increase some of the rules and your max losses, because there's such opportunity in the market during this period of time. I think it allows you to open up your threshold a little bit more and trade bigger and larger opportunities, because you can get moves where all of a sudden you're down $100 and almost make it back in one trade. So yeah, me too, Mike. I appreciate that. So let's go look at some of the trades from this morning again, specifically on SUNE, because there was a lot of opportunities on this one, and I would say that it's not that I botched it, but I definitely could have done better. So early in the morning, I traded on Charles Schwab, and then later in the evening, I started trading it on Ocean One, just because the fills on Charles Schwab was really, really slow for whatever reason that was. It was just a lot of the opportunities from the morning were. It was taking 3 to 5 seconds to fill. Just kind of unacceptable. So I wanted to make sure that I could do a little bit better here. So let's pull it back just a little bit. I know it takes a while for the DAS platform. The first trade, it's kind of a knock trade, down $15 just because I forgot to remove the limit order coming in just before 7 o'clock. It is what it is. This breakout trade, I definitely could have bought this dip here a little bit quicker. It could have been a lot nicer of a trade. Ended up trying to buy the breakout, pops up for a second and then immediately rejects. Just posted on X, by the way. New engine for technical analysis. Next update, brand new tab for analyzing trades through our most favorite technical analysis that we use every day. That's sweet. When's the update gonna come out, Fuga? And then it ends up dipping down, holding this VWAP level of support. I end up trying to take this breakout trade specifically here. And the reason why is I saw it could break over this pivot level, and I was looking for the curl back up through 260s. Pretty soon it's a big one. Oh, I'm excited. Let's go. I'm really excited, especially for this next update, because I think it's going to be great showing off these trades. But it ends up holding this level of support and then rallying. What I saw here is it popped up to about 270s, dipped back down, and then it just tapped this area. It wasn't failing, and so that gave me the confidence to punch it. It immediately pops up through 280s, $3 a share. I think that was a perfect opportunity. There was a couple dips here that I could have taken as well around the 280s level. Ends up curling. I get the breakout through first 1 minute candle to make a new high type of area. Ends up rejecting. I sell on the way back down. Buy this dip here. Perfect dip entry. Just don't hold long enough. I add back in kind of like a FOMO entry, I would say, in this area specifically. But definitely could have been looking into this for a dip down at just underneath 3. I really should have been looking for a trade here. I missed this completely. I ended up getting a little bit high. Nice trade up to 340s. Then back down. This one was a little bit of just an attempt to see if it would go. And then let's look at it back coming in on Ocean 1, because let's see here. SUNE. So SUNE. So yeah, lots of trades on this one up here. You know, I kind of sold into the tops of each level, which was good, but just this one candle really ate my day up. If I just was a little bit more patient in these levels, I think it would have been better. But bought the dip, didn't work out. Bought the dip, didn't work out. Bought the dip, worked out, just didn't hold. So what could we have done better in this area? I would say wait for momentum to stall, and then as buyers coming back in. They weren't bad entries. I just held them a little bit too long. I could have stopped them a lot sooner. No, I don't use RSI personally, but you know, RSI is an opportunity for other people to trade. But personally, I just use MACD for my lagging indicator and the divergence indicator, or stochastic, whatever you call it. And so this one ends up popping back up to about 450s here. I try to take a breakout, pops up for a split second, then curls back down. I could have even bought the dip off this level. This is kind of a really nice trade off the 9 EMA. Ends up holding up, dipping back down. And then actually, this was a really nice trade specifically because what I saw here in this area was it was dipping down below the 9 EMA, popped up above it, held over that level. I bought the dip and I was looking for the curl. It pops up, drops down. I don't add, but definitely could have thought about adding in this area, I think. And then immediately squeezes up through 430s, 450s. I don't sell anything in this area. I'm thinking, you know, if this is going to go, it's going to make a really nice move. Sell at the top of this candle here, dips back down, immediately squeezes to 540s. I sell a little bit of profit in this area. And then just a crazy jackknife candle. It goes from 520s all the way down to 440s. And then back up again. Insane. I think, you know, not trading in this area was a business decision, and it was mainly because I couldn't trust it to hold. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this alone. I'm not gonna trade this opportunity. I'll wait for something better. And so I leave it alone here, and then as it curls back up, I'm like, I might as well jump in for it. I think it might even squeeze higher. We just saw INHD squeeze up 3,000%. Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be amazing. I think it's gonna be a lot of opportunities. You have the same entry as me. Yeah, you know, I saw that on DTSM as well, Fuga. You got in around the same place as me. You actually held through the pullback. I didn't feel comfortable holding through the pullback, so I cut it off there. Could have added back for the extension, chose not to because it rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And so it ends up pulling away here up through 6, dips down, could have bought a dip just underneath this $6 level. Need to do a better job looking at those half and whole dollars for setups. Ends up curling back up to 680s, but in this range, it was very choppy. Ended up taking a breakout through 640s, squeezes. I add back here at about 720s, sell profit into 750s, holding the rest all the way for the breakthrough 9, pops up to about 9 there, dips back down. I don't add off this dip, a little bit extended. Pops all the way up to 920s before rejecting really hard. I buy this dip off the 20 EMA, small profit in this area, about $20. And, you know, that recovered most of the day there from going deep red on the start of it. Ends up not really making a decent move and selling off the rest of the evening here. And now, you know, continuing to go down a little bit red. But the next stock we ended up trading really nicely was CHAI. This one was the only stock that I would say gave us another opportunity for potential scalps. And ends up curling from just after 4 p.m. here. And this dip was actually kind of perfect. I just didn't hold it for long enough. You can see here, it pops up, pops down, I sell. Ends up curling back around. I take a dip here. It pops up all the way to up to 270s before dipping. Couple of dip trades in this area, green trade, red trade, and this trade right here sent me back to really nice on the day. I think this trade alone was about $30 a profit. So let me go to Fuga and see. Yeah, $40 a profit here on CHII for the last trade. And at that point there, it was just before 5 o'clock when I went to go stream. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to call it quits here. I'm back to green on the day. It's, you know, it's a small green day, but nonetheless, I was able to recover from pretty deep red. And that's what Monday's supposed to be, just a small base hit. You know, I was looking for something better than $17 for sure. But it ends up, what it does is it dips down below VWAP, it curls, it holds this 90 EMA support level, makes a really nice squeeze all the way up to 340s, dips down, and then that next squeeze up to 450s. And now we're kind of just selling off in this range. Not really any setups here, I don't think, unless it starts curling. How are you able to get in and out of trades so fast? Seems like a lot at one time. Yeah, so the way I do this is I trade based on the level 2. And so all the level 2 is you know, a level where buyers, or I would say an island where buyers and sellers come to the table. And so I can get in with hotkeys in and out very quickly. And so I'm just using my keyboard. I have hotkeys assigned to keys to get in for, you know, maybe 100 shares and to sell half along the way. So that's how I get in and out very, very quickly, is just trading based on the level 2 and reading it, the tape from there. So the most interesting thing I would note today is, you know, I'm green on the Ocean One account gross, but I'm red net negative. I basically break even. And then on Dash Trader is I'm green, but there's no commissions. So it's definitely interesting. You were right about the 1/8 fills I was doing. I ended up with a lot of these fees today. I'm sticking with 1/4 and 1/2. Yeah, no, I would definitely recommend trying to hold a little bit longer. Selling half fills, especially with smaller share size, will get eaten up on commissions. Now, if you were using a platform like Charles Schwab or Webull, it'd be kind of different. But because it is using you know, brokerage that has commissions with minimum fees, it makes it really, really hard. But yeah, so this was an insane day. I'm at the point now where I'm kind of sitting back and I'm soaking it all in, because you know, I spent majority of the day trading, and you know, I'm kind of just recovering from it. And those who sit, you know, long times in front of their computer trading every day, you got to make sure you drink the water and stay focused. So what are we looking at now today afterwards? What is the biggest things? Let's go to the Fuga journal. Let's plot down exactly what we did right, what we did wrong, and what we can have done better. Stocks, absolutely insane volatility. We give it a 1 out of the day, 1 out of 1. Let me pull up the monitor here so I can do voice to text as well. So what was the setup thesis, risk, and plan? Today was Monday morning protocol. We came into the market with extended rules based on our account, looking to just pull in a small green day, and if not, a small red day. We had pre-market trading, had a couple of opportunities, went down small red, about $20. Then later on, ended up trading a couple of other opportunities, going deep red, about $90, and then able to recover that with some really good breakout trades, some awesome dip extensions, and then just coming into after hours, took a couple of trades on CHAI, which brought me back to small green on the day. So that was the kind of journal for today, what happened, what worked, what didn't, and what to fix tomorrow. So I would say coming into this market, okay, what worked? Some of the best trading opportunities today was is the future trading journal accessible to anyone? It is accessible to everyone. If you go to joindtsm.com, it's the first link in the description. If you go to journal, right now it's only open for beta for elite members, and you get access completely free. So you can use it for completely free being an elite member at DTSM. But yeah, you can just go to the first link in the description and the journal. All right, let's see here. Only took 2 trades and I was done. What trades did you end up taking, Sarah? Let me finish the what worked post-session brief. So some of the best trades that I ended up taking today were dip trades. I got faked out a lot looking for an extensions. I should have been a little bit more patient and more aggressive on the micro pullback setups. What didn't work were the fake breakouts. A lot of times the stock would pop up very briefly. I tried to take the stab and I got caught holding at the top and had to sell on the way back down. But adding into levels is super important. What I'm looking for tomorrow is if a trade is starting to work, I'm looking to add to the position, looking to pull out even more off the top of it, selling halves and then quarters on the way out. So scaling in and then scaling out. Oh, OHAD. 195 trades. Wow. Are you green? 3.5. Nice. Dude, I'll finish my journal here. I'll show you my trades. I think you would be proud. I took 47 trades today. Typically, it's anywhere between 10 to 15, but 47, which is a lot as well for me. But this is my P&L for today. I went from red pretty much all day, went deeper and deeper red, and then recovered back to green, coming in just before I started the stream. So it was my first day trading on Charles Schwab. I will say some of the fills were absolutely horrendous coming into regular market hours. Just so bad. I couldn't get filled for anything. So I ended up switching to Ocean One, trading regular market hours, and switched back coming afterwards. I don't know if you had an issue with that at all as well. No, that's exactly what I'm thinking, random as well. 195, 200 trades. It's insane. It's crazy. Hopefully, I saw that you might have been red at the start, and then maybe you got a couple of trades on soon and some of these other opportunities. Just insane trades. 51, really good. Really good. Yeah, I would love to see some of the execution. It's just crazy day. We had this insane volatility. I'm in a spot now where pretty exhausted. Was red 700. Nice recovery, dude. Super nice recovery. Great job, OHAD. What stock really pulled it out for you? Yeah, pre-market was tough. I was red pre-market and then a small red pre-market. I went further down regular market hours on soon and then was able to recover. Let me pull up my trades on soon here. Best ticker was INHD. Oh, you did trade INHD. Wow, nice. Did you end up getting it all the way up through 60s, or at least, that halt up? Scalped it with 70 shares. Oh, good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people probably got smoked shorting it. Soon was really heavy and crowded today, but FRSX and INHD were beautiful. Yeah, Soon was a little bit crowded, but it, squeezed like you wouldn't believe coming into market hours here just after 2. I'm on Schwab with DAS. Small share size actually did feel slow. Yeah, no, that's what I was trading majority of the trades coming into this morning, and then during market hours, it was just almost nearly impossible to get filled pretty quickly. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I traded this long either. My brain is fried too. I'm struggling to come up with topics here today because of being here for a while. I'm probably not trading with the same share size as you, but just the same mental fortitude, I would say. It takes a toll on you if you're sitting down all morning. And I'm gonna close it up here, go to bed, and wake back up and do it again tomorrow. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't have this much activity every day. No, I would love to see this much activity, even if I was busy, because I could sit down at any time and still trade, which would be sweet. What are your thoughts on starting with small share size and adding slowly? No, I really like that as well, but some of my trades, because I timed them really well, I think I have to go in with, pretty big position and then looking for the breakouts if it's the perfect opportunity. But absolutely, I agree. I'll be streaming 24/7, yeah. Tomorrow's an all-day desk probably for me. Yeah, I'm thinking about the same. If we're in this type of market, there's no point of leaving. One, experience watching the market being really hot, super important, because we'll always get cycles like this, but especially pre-market, because we had some pretty nice moves. I'm expecting, hopefully, we get something nice, but I've been expecting some nice moves for the past while, so we'll see. We'll be fried if this continues every day. Yeah, we will, but we'll be happy at least. It's better sitting in a this type of market than it is leaving during a colder market. So we also had MTEN here make a pretty crazy move just now, all the way up to 544. Halts up, coming into regular market, sells off, and now all the way back up. This is also a Chinese stock, so we're getting a lot of Chinese sympathy momentum. I think it's because of INHD, especially coming in on MPT earlier, and then SUNE, I don't think it's Chinese, but CCTG was one as well. That one ended up popping up pretty nicely. No, I actually woke up at 4 a.m. a couple of days ago to take a couple of trades on it as well, but not a lot of opportunity coming in on Monday. Or was it Thursday of last week? I think it was Thursday. If summer's like this, imagine December, new millionaires in trading, you'll be able to do one. Yeah, no. OHAD, if the market stays this strong, OHAD's going to have a phenomenal year. He already is. Trade the market we're in and not what we want to, as I hope for tomorrow we'll see. Yeah, exactly, Justin. I agree with you. Trying to take the best trades and the spreads don't matter much because I'm taking winner trade. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That's the biggest thing I think is going into a trade. If your trade is good, it's a great opportunity. The spreads don't matter much as long as you're taking the proper entries. That's where accuracy comes from. But amazing job, OHAD. Nice recovery today. Didn't pull up nearly as great of green day as you, but still you're doing wonderful, man. So MTEN still pulling up here about 515 on the ass, pulling back a little bit. This one could still rally coming into close. All right, so let's look at some of the other opportunities that I did bad on. I ended up trading FRSX. This one I really struggled on this morning. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up FRSX trades. So I was red on this one about $30 today. One of the biggest things that I have to get used to trading. Actually, I traded this one on Thinkorswim. One of the biggest things I have to get used to is trading these stocks really quickly, because there's no commissions. I can get in and out very fast. And FRXS, I tried to take trades on this one early on. I had some really great entries on it, but my exits were really bad. I would sell way too quick. So I had a couple trades here at around 260s. Really nice pulls away. I end up adding, but getting nothing out of this entire move. If I would have just held, it would have been a little bit better. Today's nothing near the usual trading day. Yeah, very hard as people were jumping everywhere today, only paying attention to top three, as beyond there seems just pumping up. Yeah, there was a lot of, I would say, quick attention where it jumped from stock to stock, but then the ones that really were important to people ended up holding out and then pushing through. So in this area, the only two trades that I would say that were absolutely non-negotiables for trades were these two right here. I should have not taken these trades. I should have kept this trade here at around over $3 a share, looking for the curl, but I just added way too many times in this 1 minute candle. Added off the dip, didn't work. Added off the dip, didn't work. Looked for the breakout, drops down, ended up trying to take another breakout. So these were the two worst opportunities of the day. If I was just a little bit more patient and ended up getting the bottoms of these candles, it could have been a lot better for me. But ended up scalping this level down here, selling some profit, break even on this trade here. End up buying this dip. What was interesting about this trade was I was like, all right, let me see if this is going to work out. Watch the drop. I end up taking this trade. It drops down underneath me. I stop out and immediately curls up without me. And I just laugh it off. You know, it happens. Ends up dipping down here. I take the breakout through 280s. I add on this extension, pops up to about 310 and then immediately rejects. So I had to stop out flat there. Took a little bit of profit off, but I was really looking for this to curl back up through 350s. Check out FAC after hours today. It went from 15 to 177 in 5 candles. Wow. That's crazy. FAC. Wow, insane. Ireland company came out with news. Factorial list on NASDAQ bringing solid state batteries from validation to scale. We've been seeing a lot of those type of headlines recently. Check on MTN here as well. Yeah, MTN still a little bit holding here, up through 5, back down to 450s. What made you trade FRSX? Initially wanted to avoid because of the float, but of course it was a mistake in hindsight. The float actually was 2.4 million. So if you can probably go to a different market vendor, but on Webull and some other accurate market data vendors, FRSX was actually 2.4 million. The float is not 200 million. So I messaged the ChartWatcher's Discord to fix it. Should have said it's moving fast, let's buy. Yeah. So originally I didn't want to add, and then as soon as someone said, hey, the float's 2.4, I was like, okay, let's look for the breakout. So I jumped on really early on, but I just didn't hold. So I just got to be able to hold a little bit longer, especially when my thesis is so correct. What made me realize it in time? My community. I was streaming live at that time, and some other members said it was 2.4. I was like, okay, great. And I jumped on. They're a Webull trader, so if I ever question, hey, you know, this stock's moving very quickly, I just ask, hey, guys at Webull, what's the float? And then they let me know pretty quickly, which is always awesome. Yeah, DTSM is good. Thanks, Ohad. I appreciate the support, man. Okay, so let's move on to the trading recording here and look at some of the moves from the morning. I don't have anything recorded from later in the day. I didn't press record. I just have the charts and executions. Webull is very accurate with flow. I agree. They do a really good job with that. All right, I'm getting the recording here. Always good to have a backup account with Webull. Yeah. It seems like it pays off. Okay. So this is early on this morning. I'm gonna pull up the first trade I ended up taking, which was a little bit later on.
Not going now, taking $5 loss.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm planning to sit around for SpaceX this week. We'll see what ends up happening. Oh, they don't allow non-Americans? Wow. Interesting. I think they're a Chinese brokerage too, so that's pretty interesting. Was up 60 cents for you. Nice green day. Was that 60 cents a share or 60 cents total? All right, so this is soon. Pull this back a little bit here. Some executions. NEXR made a really nice move. Ended up trading, let's see, just in this area, I think, when it started pulling away. Supposedly SpaceX is making a lot of millionaires this year. We'll see. I mean, we'll definitely see. Total profit. I mean, green is green, man. You know, I had a small green day as well, but it's important to lock it up. And today wasn't the best trading day. Show back up again tomorrow and do it again. All right. So this one ends up making pull away pattern on soon. Okay. So this area here is one of my first trades coming back on soon. looking for the break back up over 224s and maybe for that curl. So I'm trying to find my exact entry here. You know, I'm scalping Elon Musk dips. Yeah, I'm gonna be there for it as well. I might use a direct access routing platform though. I don't know if Charles Schwab is gonna be good enough to trade that much volatility. Clearly today it wasn't good enough, so I don't know. The fills were horrendous. All right, so here's my trade on this one. I end up adding for the squeeze up through 250s. It rejected previously, holds up, so I'm looking for the breakout. I get in at 250s there. It pops up to about 260s. I'm looking for this to start pulling away up through 270s, looking for the squeeze. Ends up popping up there, holding, and then immediately dropping back down. I stop out flat and even red on this trade. Do I hold it through this level? I should have been selling just around here. Yeah, I sold way too late, so could have managed my risk a little bit better on this one and sold quicker. We had CLIK pop up, holding this level, buying popcorn for Friday. Yeah. The only thing why I actually started putting real money on the line. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, so that was a trade on soon. Let's keep going here. This is the trade that I love to see. So this trade here specifically, I was looking for the break back out over 270. So it pops up to 272, dips down, and then holds this level. And I end up taking a starter position just before, right about here. So I take a starter here at 260s, looking to see if it holds support. It drops down about a cent, but you can see there's a little bit at the time bid support holding that extension, and then immediately starts curling back up through 70s. I end up taking a little bit of profit around the 290s as it was breaking over 3. So right about here, I sold a little bit of profit, and then holding the rest for the breakthrough 3, pops up to 305. You can see here, still holding, basically break even on the day unrealized. Really, really good trade. Dips back down. End up taking back to green unrealized, which is nice. So I'm just watching this to see what I could have done better on some of these trades. It dips down, you have a little bit of support in this area, coming down to the 90 MA, pops back up to 92, 93. At this point, it's very, very thickly traded. So I get back in here. This trade's possible 5-minute candle setup for the break back over 18s, pops up through 305. Looking for the scale out, but immediately drops down from underneath, goes red, and then curls, rejects, and then fails back down. So I like that trade, just didn't end up working out, needed more time to hold. End up getting this breakout here, pops up to 14. I add at 15, looking for the squeeze through 20s, pops up to 18, 20, 23. Now let's see if it pulls away. There's 35. Nice. Ends up curling back down, holds off this level. Take a little bit of profit in this area, holding just 50 shares left, selling break even. So I go back to green on the stock. Or I think that was one of my last trades, I would say, on soon. I think I took maybe 1 or 2 more trades on it, and that was about it. A small dip trade. But I want to look at the FRSX trades. That's really what I want to start analyzing here today. Okay. Yeah, because I go pretty deep red and I get a nice recovery, bounce off of it. Okay, so let's watch here. Okay, so FRSX makes a really nice move up to 250s. It drops all the way down to 2s. curls back up, and I'm like, on this curl, you know, let's take this breakout trade. And so I add for the breakout through 260s here. I add a little bit late. Not even paying attention now that I'm looking at it. I'm not even watching this move. I see that it's making a nice move up to 277. Holds this level of support. I add for the breakout. If I just held on to this trade, it would have been nice. It pops up to, I get in at around 267. It pops up, drops down. I should have just been holding. I get back in at 264. Doesn't go immediately, and then squeezes without me. Pops up to 3. Should have been looking for support here at $3 a share. Pulls away to 362. Don't take a trade. Take a dip trade at 223. Pulls back to 3 here. Take a smaller loss. See if I can add off a 3. No add off a 3. That would have been really good too. Okay. So watch as it comes down on the 10-second chart here, down to the support here of VWAP. Right here. Could have been a nice dip trade. Pops back up to 305. Now, I think this ends up curling. I try to buy the breakout here. Yeah, right here I buy at 319. I get in at 319, drops down, holds to this level of support, looking for the breakout. Honestly, I should have just held this all the way up, but I get out immediately. I add back here at 311. I sell too soon. I add back at 328. Yeah, just not holding long enough really is the name of the game on this one. So still I gotta trade this, but just way better. So holding a slightly longer for better opportunities. Drops all the way down to 280s. This was actually a pretty nice dip. So I ended up taking this dip trade right here about 268, looking for the bounce back up. Immediately up 10 cents. I hold the rest. It pops up about 290s. I sell a little bit more in that area. And then it pops up to 3. I sell the rest. I end up taking another dip trade right here at 250s. Add at 250s. Pops up to about 260s. I'm looking for the curl all the way back through 3 maybe. Yeah, about $10 realized. And then it fades. I sell off, and then I end up taking a dip trade. But this next trade on FRSX, I do believe gave you a rejection a little bit later on. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So ends up holding this level of support, dipping down, and then squeezing. Okay. So this is what I do. So on this is a breakthrough VWAP setup. Last week, I think we got a couple of opportunities on this one actually, where a stock was below VWAP, it pulled away above it, and then squeezed pretty much immediately. It was pretty nice. So I see FRFX here. I pull it up immediately, and I add for the breakout through 85s. So I see it bounces, it holds. I take a starter position here for the breakthrough 85. I'm in, looking for the squeeze. It pulls away to 94. And then I believe what ends up happening is it pulls away over 3, and I add for the breakthrough 3. So I see 295, 296. I add for the squeeze through 3. Pops up to 297, holds this level for a split second, and then pops up through 310s. I take a little bit of profit off in this area, and then immediately rejects. I sell the rest flat. So I think if that one was a curl rejection and we started squeezing, it would have been a really nice trade. Yeah. Yeah, for whatever reason, you know, if your comments aren't going through, if you have any ad blockers, I think sometimes YouTube just avoids sending those messages through. So yeah, that was mainly most of the trades from today. I ended up trading GLMD as well, which was a cheap penny stock, but those were a lot of the trades I ended up taking. Just needed to be able to hold a little bit longer on some of them. This was also a really nice dip trade. So on this move here, it drops down to about 280s. Let me see the ad. Yeah, so I punch it right here for the breakthrough 280s. 100 shares. Ends up making a really nice curl back up through 3. Take profit along the way, sending me back to green on the stock after taking a couple of beats on SUNE from the morning. And that was about it from the regular market session before we traded in during after hours. But I don't have those that recorded, unfortunately. All right, so I think that's going to be ending the stream here for me today after analyzing. I know exactly what I need to do tomorrow. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to show back up around 6:45 over at joindtsm.com. So thanks everyone for tuning in here today. We'll see you again coming into the next stream, maybe tomorrow. If we can get a really nice day, that'd be great. Looking for momentum, but it's not guaranteed. So head up high, looking forward to it. You as well, Ohad. Good luck coming into tomorrow and the rest of the week if we don't chat soon. But thanks everyone.